Imagine trying to carry groceries without a bag. That's what it's like coding without arrays in JavaScript. You could juggle a bunch of variables, or you could store them all nicely in one place and call it a day. Today, we are going to talk about arrays, the magical grocery bags of JavaScript. Let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome back to Elite Tech Club. If you are just starting your JavaScript journey, arrays are gonna be your best friends. Seriously, they are used everywhere in programming. Websites, apps, games, you name it. By the end of this video, you'll be creating arrays, accessing data, and maybe even flexing some cool tricks. So what is an array? An array is a special variable that can hold multiple values all in one place. Think of it like a box with little compartments, and each compartment holds something. Cool, so imagine that we want to have a list of fruits, for example. Without arrays, we can declare variables like this. So fruit 1 is apple, fruit 2 is orange, fruit 3 is, for example, banana. Now, my question here is how I can add more fruits to this list if I want. Apparently, I need to add more variables. So let fruit 4, 5, 6. And also, what if I want to, for example, remove one? If I want to remove, for example, orange, I should set fruit 2 to null. And apparently, this is not an efficient way because I need a collection, I need a list. These variables are not correlated, so completely independent variables. The right way of doing this is using arrays. So here I'll comment using arrays, and here I declare a variable, let fruits, and in order to create an array, we need to add square brackets. So unlike objects that we added curly braces, here we need square brackets. Then inside we can add array elements. So we have 3 elements here. So doesn't matter, single quote or double quote. So apple, then using a comma, I can separate these elements. Next one is orange, and last one is banana, like this. Instead of 3 variables, 1 array does the job. Now, how do you get those fruits out of the box? With something called indexing. Each item has a number, starting from 0. So here, if I want to access the first element, I should type the variable's name and then square brackets, and then the index of that element. As mentioned, arrays are 0-based, so the number of the first element or the index is 0. Similarly, for the second one, which is orange in our list, I'll enter the variable name, square brackets, this time number 1, because this is the second element. I'll save the file and run our tiny app. Right click on inspect, and then I go to the console tab. So you see, this is the first element, apple, and then the second one, orange. Don't forget, arrays in JavaScript are 0-based, meaning the first item is at index 0. You can even change what's inside. Let's say we want to turn that banana into a mango. As you see here, banana is the third element at index 2. So here, fruits, and then index 2 equals our new fruit, which is mango. And then if I print our array after this change, here you see that we have 3 elements: apple, orange, and instead of banana we have mango. Arrays are flexible like that. Want to add or remove things from an array? Let's meet a few handy helpers. Add to the end. Remove the last item. Add to the beginning. Remove the first item. These are super useful. You'll use them a lot. Let's see them in our code. So here I'll remove these lines. This is our array, and I'll start with push, which adds an item to the end. So fruits dot push, and here I'll add, for example, strawberry to the end. And then if I print the array, console.log roots, and save the file. Here you see we have an array with 4 elements: apple, orange, banana, and strawberry. You can also click on this little arrow here to see them. So the first item with index 0 is apple, and the rest are also visible. So let me also log this variable before applying changes. So here you see we have an array with 3 elements, then we added 1 to the end, and this is the result. Next, let's remove the last element. So here, to get our original array back, I'll comment out these lines. So we have this fruits element, then we have the pop method, which removes the last item or element. So here fruits dot pop, and then again console.log fruits. If I save it, here you see that now banana has been removed from our array. Now let's add an item to the beginning of our array. I'll comment out these lines. Here we have another method, unshift, which adds an item to the beginning. So fruits dot unshift, and then the element, I would like to add kiwi to the beginning of the array, and then console.log fruits. Let's save the file. Here you see originally we have 3 elements, and then we add kiwi to the beginning of that, and then we have 4. And the last one, removing an element from the beginning. So we have shift, which removes the first item. Fruits dot shift, and then if we print the array, here you see that initially we had apple, orange, banana, Then using the shift method, the first one will be removed, then we have only 2, orange and banana. Want to know how many items are in your array? Just use .length. Here I'll comment out these lines and I'll come back to the top. So we would like to know how many items we have. So fruits dot length, and then I'll save it, and here you see that we have 3. If I use one of these methods, for example push, let me first add an element using the push method. So if I add, for example, watermelon, then print the length again, here you see that for the next one we get 4 because we have added an item to the end, therefore the array has 4 elements. Arrays can hold any data type, not just strings. So here I can declare a new variable, let mix, then inside we can have a string, hello, then a number, 42, then maybe a boolean, true, and even we can have null or undefined. And I'll save it. So as you see, we can have different data types in one array. Let's say you're building a to-do list app. Guess what? Your to-dos would be stored in an array like this. You can display them, add new ones, remove done ones, and it's all powered by arrays. So now that you know what arrays are, try making one yourself. Maybe a list of your top 5 movies or games. Drop it in the comments, let's get creative. Let's recap. Arrays hold multiple values. Items are accessed with zero-base indexes. You can add, remove, and change items. Arrays can hold any data type, and they are used in real-world apps everywhere. That's it for today. You've officially unlocked the power of arrays. If you're enjoying this JavaScript series, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Elite Tech Club, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss the next one. Spoiler alert! We're about to dive into conditions very soon, and you'll definitely want to bring your array skills along for that ride. Keep coding, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next one.